So we're live.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go to Rate Per Mile Masters so we can see what's going on inside the group. So I'm in there.
Oh.
If I open this up, I don't want YouTube. I want Rate Per Mile Masters. Okay, good, fine. So here we are. I'm Pete. This is Sue. I am hopefully in Rate Per Mile Masters right now as we speak. I do not know how to get to the chat room. I guess underneath you can make a comment if you had a question, or if you want, you can call in to 419-724-9445. We do have the phone here. Sue likes to have the phone there. We're going to talk about SONAR. I had these grand visions of setting up a studio so we could be really, really cool, and Alfred Bushi wouldn't give me crap about leaning under my desk so we both fit on the camera. But the camera that I was going to use didn't work at the last second. And what we normally do is we would take this and we would turn it toward our screen. Well, now with it being a curved screen, it just duplicates itself again and again. And for whatever reason, this one is showing up backwards. So this will be the worst formatted video on SONAR. And it is so wrong because SONAR is such a great friggin' program. So I think we're going to talk about the attributes and why it's important to you. There's a ton of videos on YouTube that actually FreightWaves has put out that'll show you a quick demo. We could probably even set a demo up in the group next week. If somebody is watching this in Rate Per Mile Masters, could you please indicate that? Because I don't want to. I'm not a very big video guy. So anyways, moving forward. So I'm going to get back to where I can see myself so I'm not off the screen. We, and I say we, Sue and I are owner-operators of Tadmore Transportation in Toledo, Ohio, MC 709413. We were founded in 2009. We have been Rate Per Mile members since 2014, right after its inception, within a couple months. And then I'm one of the moderators in the group. And Sue and I both have the same basic ideals where we want to help people have a level playing field. Most things in here we're going to talk about are pretty basic, just you and I sitting down having a talk at our kitchen table. I mean, I'm not going to say things that you're going to have to trust me on. I'm going to say things that are pretty logical, I think. If you look at the game, when I say the game, I call book and freight a game because it's hunt and match to me. It is typically toward the broker's advantage. And I know there's supply and there's demand, and when the truck is in supply or in demand, the broker is supposed to lose. But it doesn't happen nearly enough to make it a level playing field. And the crazy part of this is, if you look at the game, the trucks are a moving object. They should have the advantage. And it's kind of like playing hide and go seek, and you're able to go wherever you want. This one person has to stay still. But if suddenly they have this technology and they're able to send out drones and they have grid markers and they can tell where the trucks are, suddenly they have the advantage. And even though if you think about the hunt and match situation, the people who are moving should have the advantage, it really doesn't seem like they do. Big brokers, and I'm saying, and I hope not to upset anybody here, but I probably will. They rely upon things called the network effect, the law of big numbers. And basically the law of big numbers is also something that dictates the success of a casino. Enough people come in, enough people, and eventually the casino will win. The house will always win. The truck can have an advantage if he has better information. If you go to a casino, you're able to count cards. You go to a casino, you know that this dealer does this. You're able to bet on games. You know that referee hates that player, so he always calls his shots. If you have information, you can make your position, even though it's smaller, a better position. And suddenly the owner-operator can have the advantage. I'm going to try to get this on a different window so I can see if some people are saying things. Because I don't want to miss comments or questions. I got a Don Torok liked it. And I've got 6 people are watching. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But the good news is only 6 people have seen it. I don't want to do that again. Well, 7 now. So SONAR. SONAR is a game changer. It is a leveler of sorts for every small guy in the world. I have worked at a big broker. And I can tell you sincerely, even though we were all in the same room, we weren't working together. I had my stuff, he had his stuff, she had her stuff. We weren't working together, right? But what did join us was the technology. We had this incredible software and we're able to see how many loads were coming into an area. And even though we just had this little slice of pie, we could gauge what was going on in the rest of the world based upon my little slice of my desk. I think the 7th was me logging on the phone and computer. Thanks, Randy. I could use whatever numbers I can get. But at least I'm getting a comment off it, and that's good if you can see it. So SONAR, and I've had all these but I've had all these ideas of, Sue and I have talked about this. Her background is systems and processes, and she loves good process. And we've talked about, how do we demographically create a profile for a city? People who have a higher demographic are probably going to eat more fruits and vegetables. People with a lower demographic. You got the outliers. You've got the rail hubs. You've got the shipping ports. You've got containers coming in. I used to say, and I've said this not a couple dozen times, but probably in my life, the middle of the country is a stable bubble. So like from Ohio to Iowa, Iowa to Ohio, the rates pretty well remain static or stay the same. And that's a pretty good rule, but things are changing so fast. The days of the mega fleet, I know we've all seen a huge influx of truckers into the market. The owner-operators that have came on board. I'm not 100% sure that I can tell you why freight rates are where they are today. I can only tell you that I believe right now is the time that you're in the best position, if you're in a truck, for you and your family moving forward. If you look at things, and I'm old enough to remember when online shopping became a thing. And if you think about who the final stage of the supply chain is, it's me and you going to the store and picking up our saw or picking up our, car wax or whatever the case. We're the final stage of the supply chain for consumption. And online shopping changed that. And I remember being at a broker and getting a phone call, or we got a phone call from UPS. And we were so excited. We're like, man, UPS needs help with the freight. And now it's a thing. I mean, every year there's a big push, and UPS hires so many contract carriers and dropping hooks. And I had a real good conversation with a guy over down at Matt's about that. They were doing that dedicated. It was good rate, good grades, good stuff. So anyways, it's a game changer. And if you look at online sales, I think Chad just put up, I think it's 10 or 11% right now. And that's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And that's more and more things put on the truck. If you look at the demographics of the country, you have this huge bubble of people coming through, 25 to 30 years old, who are just entering into their prime consumption cycle. I mean, I don't know if there's a gauge for how rich you are based upon how many saws you own. But we just moved out to a new house a couple years ago with a couple buildings. We went from having like 2 saws to 17 saws or something crazy. But this is the prime time for people to be shopping and acquiring goods, etc. Of all the things that I've ever wanted to do, there's a guy named Craig Fuller, who I'm guessing he's about my age, but he looks great. And he put together this idea of Sonar and Freight Waves. And if you don't subscribe to Freight Waves, I highly recommend you do. Go to freightwaves.com, hit subscribe, you get a daily email of what's going on. And then Sonar. So I'm not going to be able to show you Sonar because I don't know how to capture my screen at this point. And I know Don Torok is going to be extremely disappointed in that. And I think I'll shoot for a next week where we try to do it, or we try to line up a demo. Like I say, there's a ton of live demos on YouTube, and I can put some of those in the link, or we can set up a live demo. The first thing you're going to notice when you do look at Sonar is it's massive. It has anything you could possibly think of. It tracks obscure things. And I'll give you an example. They have a gauge or a list of truck fatalities per state. And Sue said to me, I said to myself, I said, why would they track that? Well, then the more and more I thought about it, it makes sense. If you're in a state, you need to set up insurance, you need to set up your company, and you're in a state with high fatalities or truck fatalities, somebody's paying that insurance. There's probably people who are coming into the market. I'm making an assumption there, but I think it's a pretty logical assumption. They track the price of various produce items. Broccoli, they track the Baltic states, index. They track the price of vodka, for God's sakes. And it's kind of fun. Sue said it best. She says, if there's something on there you don't understand, you have to ask yourself, why is it there? You know what I mean? So if you know that produce season is in play, and it should be, as we speak, although yesterday was horrific. I've never seen an Easter like this for Florida. And you're bouncing back and forth. Matter of fact, last year I had guys that would go to Ohio, drop, go back empty, go back and just get another one. Well, if you see the price of broccoli drop, there's an abundance of broccoli because there's more broccoli. People are the price goes down. That's how it works. If you see the price of broccoli going up, it would indicate to me that there's less broccoli, which would be there's less loads going out. So just that gives you about a 7 to 8 day pipeline or view if you want to make that assumption that the rates may or may not go up. What makes us different from the next product? We have all the tools you can possibly have, as far as I know. If there isn't, someone should let me know, I guess. But every tool we have to date is a yesterday tool. The best thing that we can pull together right now is what happened yesterday. And that's awesome, but that's not today. Sonar gives you the ability to look forward and to predict what's going to happen tomorrow. And I would say a very fair assumption of that is 4 to 5 days out. The other thing that is extremely well notable, or it should be noted, Sonar is a completely customizable tool. Everything else that we have is
figure it out and make it work.
Yeah, figure it out and make it work.
But it's more generic. this is drilled down as deep as you want to customize the data exactly the way you want to.
And we have actually put a video up of the tools that we have available to us. And the things that we do are little hacks to make it more effective for us. So I'm going to kind of go through the indices, and I never say that word right, so forgive me. You always say that. There are, God, I should have counted these. I would say at least 100, and I'm going to kind of go over the basic headings. So you've got, I think, about 10 or 11 functional indexes in trucking supply and demand, market volume insights, DAT truckload data, warehouse real estate, risk management and compliance. These are all not subjects. These are all categories of other things that are inside of it. And then inside of each one of those, it goes down to the state, the U.S., down to the market, depending on how important the information is. Macro capacity insights, auto insights. So an auto insight, they track the 3-year-old truck sales, 4-year-old truck sales, 5-year-old truck sales, automotive production. All of these things play into the freight rate. Macroeconomic indicators, these are things that I have dreamed of being able to put my hands on for years. And because of Craig and his team, it is now something at my fingertips in one tool. Agricultural volume and price, energy price and volume, rail, TCA benchmarking. So they have benchmarking of average length of haul, brokerage revenue, driver to non-driver ratios, air, showing the price to air cargo in euros. And these are all, like, I'm telling you, I wish I had this 20 years ago. Logistics Managers Index. And I think that's going to be the end of it. There's probably 100 different categories that you can track.
Yes, about 150.
Sue's guessing 150.
As you look at
It was like little lines on the side of Excel.
If you look at the real number.
When I'm around a pretty girl, sometimes I forget to think. There's 233 lines used. Take out some headers, and you're about 200 benchmarks. Make sure there's no comments. I'm supposed to be utilizing or saying. So that's it. I mean, it's kind of, sorry. Oh, Sue. Okay, good. So that's why. So
that's why I'm sitting.
Sorry, sitting there. So one of the examples I wanted to give, I think the best use or the best real life example that I've been utilizing to explain sonar to somebody else who doesn't have an idea is the weather. So if you think about freight markets as the weather, yesterday I'm driving to work and there's standing pools of water everywhere. I called Sue and I said, hey, would you mind going and checking the basement? There's, water everywhere. And that's real-time data, right? I seen pools of water here. And it wasn't because April 20th, 2015, my basement flooded. It wasn't because April 20th, 2018, my basement flooded. It's because we've seen real-time data that it was wet. And that's a lot what sonar is. And if you believe in checking the weather, then you believe in the idea of being able to predict the future events based upon the conditions that create one thing or the other.
The movement of that.
And the movement of that. Yeah, if you see a big storm come from Chicago and it's coming in, and I don't know how many of you guys are watching, I'll post it. But Sonar puts up a This Week in Sonar video every week on YouTube. So even if you don't subscribe to the tool, you can still get an advantage by watching the Sonar update of what's going on this week. And the guys who are doing it, I mean, really a top-notch team. With the guys talking about, as a freight race, we start to see them in the homestead, produce coming in, and as it works its way through the state. And that's a very real thing. And actually, you'll see a little bit, and then he actually brings in talking about the port in Jacksonville and how that'll then turn it on over. And it's a pretty incredible for anybody who's been doing this for any amount of time. I've got Mindy or Mingle Pringle. Is this something a shipper can use?
Yes.
More so than you would know. And here's why. If it tracks, so SONAR, and I wish I could pull up a screen, and I wish I could figure out a way to do that. You'll be able to look at, there's a market map. You look at, just based on a quick glance, is the market I'm going shipping to, is it better or worse than the market that I'm in? How many trucks versus loads? And at which point you end up in a situation where if you're shipping into a dead market, you can pay more for your freight. But if you know that market's going to loosen up, and let's say Monday is a better choice, then you can save money. And I've done that quite a bit up and down the I-5 out in the Northwest. Customer calls up, says, hey, I need this on, pick up on Friday, deliver on, Monday. Well, it's a tweener lane, and a tweener lane is the 750 lane. And it's just not a good weekend run. Most guys on the weekends want to run. And so we'll roll it over till Monday. And next thing you know, the freight rate just went down tremendously. From a carrier broker standpoint, can I analyze commodity on top of commodity to design a sales strategy? You can grab 2 items, and yes, hang on real quick here. How do you view this presentation? Give me 1 second. I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. Yeah. Give me 1 second here. See, I was trying to be footloose and fancy free, and I kind of messed up. So I just put it into the group there and see if that gets us a couple more people. Actually, we just lost one, so that's awesome. So, but yes, and Mingle Pringle, thank you. Anything you want to touch on? Everybody's got any questions? It's kind of tough without being able to show you.
When we were talking earlier, we talked about how, and you touched on this, but knowing the fare for the drivers anyway, to know what is a fair rate.
Well, and this is an extremely good point, and thank you for saying that. Why this is a tool that I don't want to use the word love, because I try not to use the word love, but I love the damn thing. If you watch the purchases that come out of the front of the store, and you're able to sit there and you go, chocolate, vanilla ice cream store, right? And then you're like, okay, well, we sold 3 chocolates and 4 vanillas. Vanilla must be the way to go. If you go into the store and you find out the vanilla is a natural product and it's 100% homemade, and the chocolate is some sort of synthetic, it doesn't matter vanilla versus chocolate, right? Right now, all we've got are, what were the paid rates? What were the products that came out of the door? Who bought what and for what price, and why did you do it? This is why did they do that? And as a broker's job, and I've always said a broker's job is to move freight at a fair rate. It's not. I mean, and apparently I've been doing it wrong all these years, but a broker's job is to convince the truck it's a fair rate. And based upon, if you look at, and we utilize 2 of the main load boards. I'm trying not to mention any products to get myself in trouble. But if you look at the spread, and we just put up a graph in rate per mile that shows the spread between truck stop and DAT, and the difference in the pricing. And truck stop utilizes, I guess, a different pricing model, so they have larger swings. So if you're only using that load board and you're only sitting in the parking lot watching to see what somebody pulls out and walks out of the store with, you're like $4, $4, and you go next door and the guy is, $3, and you think, $4 a good price or $3 a good price. Understanding the actual demand behind what you've got is worth more than that. And I watched every SONAR video I could find because I was trying to do something that was different. And Lord knows this probably is different. comparatively to what's being said out there. And I know there's one gentleman who was talking about it's very, very, very expensive. It's not. What's expensive is running a truck for less than it's worth. That's expensive.
Tell the Don cartilage.
We have a gentleman who was in our group, and he was a dear friend, and he had a broker who was retired, and he done loads with this guy for years and years and years. And he says, "Hey, what'd you ever bill on those?" And the guy says, "If you told me, you'd hate me forever, or if I told you, you'd hate me forever." There's all of these. I mean, it's just, I don't know where it ends. I don't know where it begins. I just know that logically, the truck should be the one who's in control of this game, and they're not. And the difference is in the information and the data. And this is the ability to change that for the owner operator and to get them a level playing field. We're up to 14 people that are watching. I don't know. I think it's still going. I'm not very, yeah. So.
We're brokers, see, we're not podcasters.
Yeah, we're not podcasters. Running a little behind, break a leg. Thank you, Jessica. That's in there. Randy Glenn, thank you for helping out, Michael. I think that's it. I mean, I think I botched the delivery on this. I think I'm going to put my tail between my desk and kind of regroup for next week potentially and get where I can capture the screen. And I didn't install the app, and I should get better at being able to do that. And
stop it.
All right. But basically, this is it. It's a great software platform. I would encourage you. I'll put up comments into the group with links to full demos. Real quick. So I'm just going to grab this real quick because I'm just going to stall for just a minute longer. I'm going to read this, not as fast as I can, but I'm going to read this. So trucking, supply and demand, we kind of hit on the topics. This to me is like crazier exciting than you could possibly be. Because last thing I just don't want you to walk away feeling like it was a flop. Because that's Sue's right. Stop it.
Well,
yeah. So
I'm going to interrupt here because you can get on YouTube and see the demos.
Yeah.
That was not our purpose. It would have been nice to, show a couple of screens, but our purpose was not to teach SONAR.
Yeah, it was to talk about why.
Our purpose is to generate some interest and help people not maybe feel overwhelmed by it because it is a ton of information. Huge. And
and you only have to slice off whatever you want. Like I said, the screen is completely customizable. You don't have to keep putting in the same search options or whatever. And you have your own dashboard and it goes to and it comes up. So macro and economic indicators, these are all things that I would have killed for in college. Employment level, seasonally and non-seasonally adjusted. Estimated truck drivers, estimated for-hire trucking equipment, employment industrial, employment office, employment total, Institute for Supply Management, average hourly wage, hires level, hires rate, people being hired, job openings level, job openings rate, unemployment rate, unemployment rate U to 6. I'm not even sure what that is. Industrial production, industrial protection year over year change, orders, producer price index year over year change, real gross domestic product, quarter to quarter real GDP growth, year to year. Real GDP growth, goods exports year over year change, good exports year over year, housing starts, building permits, real gross private domestic product, real government expenditure, retail sales year over year change, shipments in millions of dollars, total business inventory sales ratio. That is one, and each one of those are then broken down into markets in the U.S. and industry type. It is absolutely ridiculous. If you've got a niche where you only haul plastic that is plastic plumbing supplies, and you want to know that the plastic plumbing supplies is directly related to the housing market, and you can look at what your business, I don't care how crazily down you want to look at, it's here. You want to know, when the agriculture price, now I won't kill you with all these, but bananas, uncooked ground beef, alcohol, malt price, white bread price, broccoli price, butter stick price. These are all things that are tracked within SONAR, which are things that eventually lead to demand and the freight rate. Is there a sandbox version of SONAR? Do you have the links to these videos you watched? I will put up links. I don't think there's a sandbox version, but I do know that the folks at FreightWaves are very, very generous with their demos. It does not take long to set one up. If you want to give me a call, I can help you with that and the people that are involved. Let me make sure I'm not missing any comments. Randy Glenn commented on my post. He said, Pete, how can I, as a one-truck operation, benefit from a subscription to this? I can see where it helps 3 in truck-up operation. Randy, I'm going to sound silly. I don't know why 1 to 3 would be better or worse. Maybe because of the cost. They're talking about giving us special pricing for rate per mile. I don't want to say that because I've only been told that verbally. I've not seen it in writing, but it equates to something like $10 a day. And if all you do is predict when a freight rate is a market is going to crash or grow, and you do that once a week or once a month, and you can get $4 in and $3 out, there's your $10 a day. One of my friends just said, when you're done with your video, I can show you how to do that screen share. Thank you very much, Ari. So that's it. I think I'm going to call it for the day, half hour, and then we'll go. We'll try to regroup for next week. And hang on, let me make sure next week is not like Easter. 27th. No, it is not Easter, or 28th. So 4/28, we'll shoot from there. And I appreciate everybody that got on. Again, anybody wants any questions, I'm always available. I'll address them the best I can. And we're all learning, and these are tools to do it with. I appreciate you, and thank you. And I'm not sure how to end this now. End stream, end.